Welcome to the Local
724 podcast.
in 3, 2, 1.
All right, Fernando in the house. What's up, man? How are you? Very good. Thanks for reaching out to me and wanting to be on the show, man. It's very fun to connect with other people, like-minded people in the filmmaking game and guys that play with cameras, things like that.
Yes, sir.
It's and I recently saw that you're a big YouTube guy.
Yeah.
That's pretty sweet. You came in vlogging the episode there, but tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, and how you got into filmmaking.
Okay, so funny story. So actually, I began as in a psychology major. I started college wanting to become a relationship counselor, a marriage counselor to be exact. Then I saw the process because I did like a job shadow, and I saw the process. I was like, no, this is too long. So I decided, I was like, well, I was always good at drawing, so I went to graphic design, and I'm a computer nerd, so I thought,
Just come up to the mic a little bit.
I got you. So I got into graphic design, and then after college, I was like, it was cool doing it, but when I went to apply for jobs, it was like a room like this is amazing, but with the actual jobs I went to, it felt like I was in a factory.
Yeah.
And I felt like it was so dull when you're in the art school, everything's like colorful, creative, and like you can be imaginative. And I showed them my portfolio, and I was like, yeah, I designed this in 3D. I designed this logo design. They're like, so let me let you know here that I know that you have a bright imagination, but just to let you know, we're not that creative, and it's gonna be pretty dull here. They didn't say it like that, but that's what I got in my head. And so like I was like, okay, so can I imagine myself being in a cubicle for the next 5 years of my life and be happy? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We're always brought up in high school to follow a teacher, do what they say, go to college, do what you want, do what you got to do, and you have to follow these rules, get a job, get married, have kids. It's all cool and all, but it's like at the end of the day, you're doing something that you were brought up to do. When in reality, you weren't following yourself, you were following what you were told.
Right. Yeah.
You know, and so I thought to myself, nah. So practically after college, I had to start all over again. And I was like, man, screw it. I don't want to do this because I didn't have a dime in my name. And I was like, I'm straight out of college. And I was like, might as well go back to my day job that I did when I was in college. I went to freaking Dunkin' Donuts. And let me tell you, it's miserable going back to Dunkin' Donuts. But, I do what I had to do. And so I thought to myself, well, is it possible to own your own brand? Or I always thought someone had to start Dunkin' Donuts, right? And so how do you do it? And how do you own your own thing? Because when I was at Dunkin' Donuts, I was like, I hated being told what to do, especially with my professors at school. I hated being told what to do, but I was like, I had to.
You and I are very similar. My wife's going to listen to this and be like, God damn it. How does he keep finding these people that are fucking just like him?
And so I got into that, and I was like, okay, screw it. So I was like, okay, let's see. There's entrepreneur. I didn't know what that word was, and I was like, I looked it up, and I was like, oh, that sounds like me. So I was like, I didn't have a car at the time, so I decided to do this right here. Except I didn't have a car. I was able to get Ubers though, and I had my little Nikon at D3300, and I just went at it, and I asked questions like, what is it like to be an entrepreneur? Are you happy in what you do? And every time I interviewed each one, they were happy with what they were doing. Even if they weren't making a lot, they were happy because it was what they felt they were meant to do.
Yep.
And so after that, I was looking back, and I was like, what was it that really made me happy? And I remember back in high school, I had my little camera back when we used Sony Vegas, whoever uses that anymore.
Yeah, I did.
And I remember editing videos or making, because I used to be a musician at the time, and so I made a cringy, I deleted that thing, no one knows it exists. So I created a music video for myself, and I was like, that was so cool. And I grew up in music all the time, and I loved filming, especially back at IUP, where I went to college at. I was on IUP TV, and I was one of the star roles, and they taught me how to use a camera for free. I didn't have to go to college, or they taught me how to use the camera and everything, and how to edit all that for free. And I was like, okay, I'll go take that. And so I looked up online, is this a thing? And I stumbled across Light Film School. So I was like, okay, I love music and I love film. Fernando, what the heck are you doing? So I decided to take the course, and the course taught you how to make a music video. And I shot my first music video. And let me tell you, I was nervous. But I was pretending to make it. I was pretending to know what I was doing. And so, like, I shot the video, and when I got done with it, I was like, whoa, I made that. And I showed it to them, and they were, like, blown away. And they're all called 3M Infinity, so shout out to 3M Infinity. And I shot that, and I was like, what if because I've been following this production called Twist of Fate Productions.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought I was looking for an internship to, like, learn more about film. And so I was like, you know what? I love what you guys do. You guys are always shouting out these bands, and I love these bands. And I was like, screw it. So I sent them a message, and they're like, actually, we don't have internships, but we do know someone that would be interested in what you do. Because I shot that music video that was the only thing that I had in film.
Yeah.
So a couple of days later, I got a message on my phone, and I was like, who the heck is Jonna? So I looked her up, and it says she owns First Angel Media. And I was like, oh, what? And she was like, so, Fernando, my friend from Twist of Fate was telling me about you. I was like, no way, me? And she's like, we're actually doing a documentary. We would love for you to film for us. I'm like, you want me? Yeah.
Right on, dude.
And I was like, you want me? Yeah, totally. So I shot their documentary, and it went viral in Pittsburgh area. And I was like, what? And so after that, Amanda Baker, I love you, Amanda, she pitched me to a band called Tropodelic. It's like a mix of reggae, hip hop, rock, jazz. And I went, and that was actually my first vlog on my YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
And I went on that, when I shot that video, that was my first experience of being on stage in front of all those people. And it was to the point where I was so scared in the crowd. The lead singer, you see him in the video, you see the lead singer doing this. He had to literally finger me up on stage. And I was like, all right, that means go on stage. And when I went on stage, all you saw was,
All those people.
yeah, all those people. And I felt like I closed my eyes, and I felt like I went back in time being like I used to be a performer on stage.
Mm-hmm.
And at that moment, I was on stage running around from it was 4 p.m. until 9 o'clock at night. And let me tell you, I was exhausted. It was even raining near the end too. Still did. And after that, at that moment, that was when I realized film is what I want to do. And so after that, I started to realize that I kind of felt bad that I didn't realize this earlier, but then I didn't, because I looked back and I was like, if I didn't take these steps, I wouldn't have gotten to First Angel Media to where I am now.
Mm-hmm.
Now, am I successful fully? No, but I'm happy that I realized what I want to do in the future. So after that, I decided, screw it, let's go more into music videos. And so now I'm starting to build a name in the Pittsburgh area. But the situation is now COVID-19 happened.
Mm-hmm.
And so now it's harder to do music videos or anything at all.
Yeah, it's real tough.
So now I'm like, short films it is. Sometimes if you can't find an opportunity, why not create your own? Because you can either sit down and wait for someone to hire you, or you can just be like, screw it, get your 10,000 hours in and do it yourself. Make your own opportunity and build that portfolio, because no one's going to recognize you if you just sit and do nothing.
Absolutely.
And so I kept going at it. Now, I'm making a film. I got connected with Tom Flynn. Tom Flynn, shout out to you. That dude he shot for Fire from the Gods. He shot for Lamb of God. He shot for Ice-T.
Nice.
He's been shooting for all these different bands, and he was actually talking to me. I was like so nervous, because and so I got to talk to him. I got to talk to Alan Jackowitz, and Dominique Murray's been helping me out. Phenomenal photographer, and I'm starting to build a community, and I feel where I was in the beginning to now. It's only this is my second year in, and I feel like it's been a lifetime, but it feels so good. And now I'm starting to believe in what I do, because I'm always told, Fernando, you got such a great talent. Fernando, you can do this. Fernando, you got that. I'm like, because in the beginning, you don't really see it until after a while.
Right, yeah.
And then now I'm just starting to have faith in what I do. I'm closer to God now. And I realized for the longest time, I didn't believe that faith would exist until till recently, and now I feel like this is really meant for me. Because if it wasn't meant for me, then why am I still able to do it? Because I remember, like, for example, a couple years ago, I was doing a short film, and that day I had a flat tire. Because the next day I had to shoot a music video in Pittsburgh, and I told the band, and they were like, Fernando, we need this music video. How about I drive from Pittsburgh to Latrobe, pick you up, take you up, and then I'll pay you. And like, I made the money, and then on that day I was able to get my tires and also get my car fixed so I can get it the pass examination. And I was like, all these people supporting me, and it's such a great feeling to do all this. And now, like, I developed, because of coronavirus, it's a blessing in disguise, because now I realize I want to get more into short films and documentaries. And what I want the end goal to be is to be able to shoot a short film, a feature biofilm about an artist. So example, like, Rhapsody or Straight Outta Compton.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want to do as my end goal. That's why I'm getting closer into documentaries and short films with me and the music industry, because they all collab together, and that's what I want to do at the end goal.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah,
that's great. I mean, that's a pretty solid progression.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like most people that try to get into like the video and film game and stuff like that, I think most people probably start with music videos, things like that. I mean, it's like one of those things that's how I got in.
Yeah.
I went to Edinburgh to be a photographer, hone my craft there. And a friend of mine took a film class. He's a photographer. He took a film class, and he asked if I wanted to help out shoot this music video for our friends. And I was like, oh, yeah, no worries. Like, I just realized, like, oh, my God, I really like doing this. Yeah. And I never stopped doing it. And I switched my major from photography to video, and that was it.
That's cool.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, it's an awesome thing to, like, step back and look at things that you make, like, and that never goes away. Mm-hmm. Like, you've made some, like, multiple things and stuff since your first video. You step back and we're like, oh my God, I made that. But, like, it doesn't stop. Like, I'm like 14 years into this game, and literally I'm like, I still get done with stuff, and I'm like, yo, I just made this. This is awesome. Like, I get real fucking pumped about it. It's cool as shit. And it's like, it's so much fun because, like, you just keep learning and learning and learning. Right. Like, you just have to, you really focus, you surround yourself with good people, and shit starts to happen, man.
Right. Like I remember just one quote. I was listening to Steve Harvey lately. He was talking about a quote from Einstein. And what people don't realize, that when you're around people that don't think like you, they're going to down you. And like, if you see, everyone has their own imagination, and everyone thinks a different way. And if you want a way to kill your dream, tell it to someone that doesn't think like you, because that will kill you. Oh, yeah. But if you surround yourself with people that are like-minded like you and think the same imagination as you, people don't realize how powerful imagination, because as Einstein says, imagination is a preview to upcoming attractions, I believe is the quote. And I heard that quote, and I was like, that is so real. Because just for example, like this water, like it's just freaking water. Like, everyone drinks water, but like, for some reason, like, someone thought of this, and now everyone's getting it now. Yeah. And so, like, or even this switch, like the switch pod, no one, like, everyone got tired of using the Gorilla Pods. I think you got to, like, wrap it around and then plop it down. But this, you can just, and then flip it, and then boom, simple. Like, it's such an amazing thing how people can take something from their heads and then apply it, and then for the whole world to see. And in the beginning, everyone's gonna think you're crazy. Like Steve Jobs, for example. And now look, he's dead. He's still making money.
Oh yeah, yeah, dude. I mean, it's all about like innovation, and like, like you coming from the beginning saying like, well, somebody obviously owns Dunkin' Donuts. Yeah, yeah. It's like when you're young and you're thinking like, what can I do? Like, I don't want some guy to just be over my shoulder all the time. Like, yo, like, if you have time to lean, you have time to clean, grab a broom and like sweep up the stock room or some shit like that. And it's like, look, man, can I also just like fucking chill for a second? Like, take a breath? Like, can I just like, and it's really hard to, you're in that mindset and you don't like being told what to do all the time. It takes guts to to leave that.
Right.
It really does. And
Right.
I mean, how old are you?
26.
26. I'm 37.
You look good.
11 years older. Thank you. 11 years older than you. And it took me until I was 34 to like make that jump and say, all right, I'm done with corporate. I'm done with all this shit. I'm doing my own thing. It's awesome that you're 26 years old and you're doing that. Like by the time you're 37, dude, you're going to be one of the biggest names, around. It's going to be awesome.
I appreciate that.
You keep working hard and everything like that. I mean, it's just like people respond to people that are very serious about themselves. How'd you get into YouTube?
YouTube? Okay, so actually, that was through the podcast that I was telling you about earlier. I got into YouTube through doing that. I was like, okay, I need to put this podcast. I didn't know, like, for example, like Anchor FM exists. So now you can upload, like, podcasts is up for free instead of, like, paying for it now. So I didn't know that exists. So I was like, okay, I'm going to put it on YouTube. And then I saw other people on YouTube, like Peter McKinnon.
Yeah.
That dude was able to make a million subscribers in like a year.
Yeah, he did it in a year.
That is crazy. Him and then Marcus Brownlee and then YC Imaging, all these people.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been watching. I was like, I see them building something. I'm like, I want that.
Yeah.
And that's what made me like get more serious into. Once I got serious in film, then I was like, okay, I can either only have my name in public or I can have my name online. And so I started to be more serious in YouTube, and I started to expand that way. Now YouTube, I'm still learning. I'm still learning because that algorithm is ridiculous.
It's tough, man.
Yeah.
It's tough to do.
Yeah, like the only one that's going viral right now is that one about you were talking about the light one. I think the light one. That's the one that's going out. Like that one's like pumping like crazy. So I'm still trying to figure out like what was it that made that popular? Like was it the keywords or anything that I did? And I was like, I don't know, but
the video. I mean, like I watched it this morning and I thought it was fantastic. It was just like it was real high energy.
Yeah,
it was cool how you explain things. It was a product. It was a product video, basically, but you made it very fun. It didn't seem like your typical unboxing and like, this is, the Vanna White thing, like, oh, here's this product. It didn't seem like that. It just seemed like very cool, very like down to earth. This is a guy that uses this in his work. And if he likes it, I'm going to take his word for it.
Right.
You know what I mean? It was a very cool video. I liked it a lot.
Yeah. That's probably because I watch a lot of Unbox Therapy.
Yeah.
So that's
that
probably
dude's
that
hilarious. So I used to get messages on my channel all the time and people were like, are you the guy from Unbox Therapy? And I'm like, no.
I see the resemblance. Yeah, you two do look alike.
It's hilarious. People were asking if I was that guy. And I'm like, if I was that guy, I would have a shitload more subscribers on this channel. And they were just like, oh, I guess. Yeah, okay. And it was like, it was absurd. But I've been told I look like the guy a million times.
Yeah, you should just fake it, just be like,
that's me. Yep. YouTube kind of like became a creative outlet for me when I was in corporate. When you're making your stuff, you got to start thinking about like who your demographic is, who are the people you're talking to and stuff like that. With that light, I felt like you were talking to everybody, like the person that's just getting into filmmaking or the guy that is, annoyed that his RE kit makes the room 2,000 degrees while he's shooting. And he's just like, oh, yeah, this guy. Okay. Yeah. That's a cool light. All right. Yeah. And he goes and buys one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that was a cool video. I liked it.
I appreciate it. Yeah. I'm trying to get more into that's why I'm trying to get more into vlogs too. Cause vlogs, believe it or not, vlogs are a good exercise because they teach you he doesn't there's this word.
Storytelling.
Yeah. Storytelling. And there's this one dude, I forget his name. He's known. That's how he makes his subscribers through vlogging. Mm-hmm. He was able to make a vlog every freaking day, and I have no idea how he did that.
Every day?
It's crazy. Yeah, every freaking day.
Was it Casey Neistat?
I think,
Is it that
Casey.
Dude?
Yeah, Casey Neistat. Yeah,
dude, he was the reason that basically I saw how happy that guy was making videos online, and I was like, that's what I want to feel like. I want to have that happiness and not feel like I'm just working at a factory where it's like, okay, This guy handed me the script. I shoot exactly what I'm, prescribed to do. Then I take my widget and I hand it on to the next guy, and that person edits it, and then they send it on to this guy, and that guy does his part. That's not creative. That's a fucking assembly line.
Right.
And it sucks. So that's what I was just kind of like, let's do something different. Even, if you're going online and doing, I did this like one video about the electric skateboard.
Oh, snap. Nice.
It's hanging right there. And that was my first product video that I did. And it went nuts. I don't even know how many views it has right now, but probably like 50, 60,000. And it was just like, I saw that and was like, whoa, okay. So I became the electric skateboard guy on YouTube for a little while. Like I was just like, for this specific company.
Yeah, my friend like Tom Flynn, like he uses a hoverboard to do his film. Like he people look at him in fun like, why are you on?
Oh, dude, that's amazing. Yeah.
You just take the camera and like it's a way to stabilize your camera.
Absolutely.
Like
a dolly.
Yeah, it's freaking ridiculous how he does that. Like I was wondering how he did that, and like I see his photographer shooting, and I'm like, oh, so you're on a freaking hoverboard. That's why it looks so freaking smooth. So,
dude, that's awesome, man.
Because I want to get one so bad because of that now.
Yeah,
I want to get that so bad.
Dude, that's cool as hell. I mean, like, dude, back when I was in college, we would do pretty much the same thing. No hoverboard. Yeah. We would go to the thrift store and buy wheelchairs, like for $5 or $10, and you would sit in the wheelchair with your camera as stable as you could, and you would have your buddy push you down the hall because you had these giant wheels and everything was so steady, and it was just like,
I never even thought of that.
$10. You know what I mean? Dude, I'm telling you, we're only 11 years apart, and I've got some shit to tell you. It's like,
reminds me, like this one dude, like he took a shopping cart.
Yeah.
And he put like a pole in the middle of it, spray painted the whole thing. And then made it to like a tripod. He put his camera on it. He's like, this is what I use to shoot like for my music videos. Hobson, he's the guy that did that.
Yeah.
And I was like, what?
Dude, it's awesome, man. The things that people come up with, like, I don't know. It's all about innovation. And like we were talking about like earlier and things, like innovation is just awesome. Like to be able to take something that already exists, like a tripod or a gorilla pod, and then get the idea and come up with something new and exciting. It's like, what's his face? In Mad Men, they say it all the time. Like, why try and reinvent the wheel?
Right.
It already exists. Just make it better. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's just cool things like that. I think that really are like taking younger kids like you, like a generation, and making them feel more confident to take these big leaps, because everyone's getting creative with like innovating and different things, and they're seeing like, anybody can take something and make it better these days.
Right.
It's accessible to pretty much anybody.
Right.
It's pretty awesome.
People are just afraid to take to lead. That's what it is. People are just afraid to like take that chance because
It's
they feel
scary.
more secure, and they feel like, okay, what if I fail? Because I like last year, like I was struggling. Like I quit dunking and I struggled.
Yeah.
And then like after a while, I was able to actually afford it. Like able to do it. And then all of a sudden the winter happened, and now at that point I realized that bands don't go on tour in the winter. So then that happened, and then the corona happened. And so like it's like it killed everything. So I had to get a day job.
Yeah.
But because of that, I don't mind that, because the day job is helping me invest in my business.
Yeah.
And I can have security behind me and not worry about, so now I gotta pay the next rent. Yep. And then I can also do what I love. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you can, if you want to have a day job, that's fine. But if you also want to do what you love, why not go for it? And that's something I never really understood.
Yeah, man. I mean, the side gig thing, that went on forever. Yeah. Like, I did that forever. Yeah. Like, I lived in Lancaster for the longest time, and the job that I had was awesome. Yeah. I was, an editor, and I would help shoot and stuff like that. It was a small company, and it was cool. It was a lot of fun. I made a decent amount of money for, just a small company. Yeah. But I wasn't making enough to pay all my bills and rent and all that stuff. And I was like, man, do I get another job or like what? And I realized I had a camera and I could probably make money with it. So
Yeah.
I literally just started hitting up Craigslist of all things. And I was just like, yo, portrait sessions, blah, blah, blah. And after a while, like I went and I just like called a couple friends and was like, hey, can I take some portraits of you or whatever, blah, you can have them. I just need to do it. And they were like, yeah. So I did it, built myself a little, 5-picture portfolio or whatever to put on Craigslist.
Right.
And then I had people calling and they were like, hey, do you do families? And I'm like, sure do. Come on. Meet me at a park somewhere. And we'd do it. And my first thing was I'll shoot them for free. That's what I said. I was like, I'll do it for free.
Yeah.
If you want the photos, then you pay me $90 or $100 and you can have all the photos that I shot.
Right.
Well, if you're going to waste your time meeting me in a park somewhere and getting dressed, of course you're going to want the photos. So, but the free thing really got people. So there was a point in time where if I felt like I was going to be short on rent,
Yeah.
I was on Craigslist like, yo, I'm doing portrait sessions this weekend, blah, blah, blah. And dude, I'd have like 3 or 4 people sign up and I would make like $300 or $400 in a day. And I was just like, whoa, this is awesome. Okay, I'm good for, this week or 2 weeks or whatever.
Yeah.
And it just like, this side hustle just went and went and went forever. And, when I took the leap and did all this stuff, like, dude, it's incredibly scary because my first year, there was like in the winter months, like you were saying, there was, I forget what it was, maybe February to March or something like that.
Yeah.
I made $0. And I was like, this is not good. Like, I was embarrassed to tell my wife, I didn't make any money. In fact, I spent money this month, like on different equipment or something like that. And it just like, I always would, then I learned that I had to stock money away.
Yeah.
And then it was just like, it's all these things that you learn throughout, like being an entrepreneur and things like, winter might be slow. So take the money that you made in the summer and the spring and the fall and all that stuff and stock it away. And that awesome new camera might be like $3,000 and you're like, oh man, I can do it. I can pay for that. No big deal.
Right.
You might want to think about it because you might in March or February be like, hey, I could really use that $3,000 right about now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's just things like that you really just have to like always think about. And it's just like you learn as you go. Like I said, you're 26 years old. Like you're learning all of this stuff now, and you've already got a pretty good outlook on, what you want and what you want to do. So I think it's pretty awesome, man. When I was the younger generation, dude, I was drunk on a bar stool somewhere.
Like for that, like I never was into that type of scene. Like even when I went to college, because like my parent was like the religious type, and so like she taught us like you need to be in your books. Here's what she always said. Your books are your girlfriend. You can take them all around the world. You can touch them, but they don't bring you home babies. When you study them,
right?
They can take you anywhere you want to go. And then your high school diploma is your first wife. And your college, darn it, those are my grandbabies. I want some grandbabies. And my college diplomas are grandbabies. She always taught us that. And like the way I grew up, like we grew up where we had to do everything ourselves. Because we grew up in like, we weren't that bad, but it taught us to be more independent. And that's where I believe like that's where I got my entrepreneurial mindset from.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up like, especially with my mom having to take care of my little brother all the time. My big brother was gone, and my mom had to take care of my little brother because he has mental disability.
Mm-hmm.
So I was basically took care of myself. And at that point in that time period, I was upset all the time. And I was like, it's always me. I'm always doing this all by myself, doing this by myself.
Mm-hmm.
But then doing that, because of that, it helped me pay for my college.
Yeah.
I don't know, I paid financially, it helped me, but then the rest I had to pay on my own. So it taught me how to juggle, because I had to juggle 3 jobs, and then I was a vice president of a club, and I was a star in another club, the star actor in another club.
Mm-hmm.
I was exhausted, but I was able to pull it through because of being independent as a kid.
Yeah.
And now, like I didn't have nothing. Like even when I graduated from college, like that's why I was in deep depression. Like I was in horrible depression because I lost everything. I didn't know I wanted to graphic design didn't make me happy anymore. I lost my fiance. I lost all my money. I was in college debt.
Mm-hmm.
Not that bad, but still. And then at that moment, I was like, it's either I can sit here and be sad or I can build something.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so that's what people, I don't understand what people like, they come too quick to give up. But if you give up, you're not going to move anywhere. But if you actually push yourself, if you actually, okay, if I'm in a situation, but maybe I should do something to get myself out of that. But sometimes it's hard to do that.
It's real tough.
You know, but it's
especially now.
Yeah, exactly. Because you can't even leave the house anymore.
Right, yeah.
Which is ridiculous.
It's nuts. Do you think that independence that you had because your mom was taking care of your brother, do you think that kind of pushed you towards film, like watching films or watching TV?
Yeah, that was
getting into books and more creative things? Yeah,
because that's what I did a lot. Like back when my dad was in the picture, that was like our way to bond.
Mm-hmm.
And like we would always communicate through talking about films, and he was talking about like he wanted to write a film and whatnot. And at that, I didn't understand at the time. But then now I'm looking back, I'm like, shoot, too bad he's out the picture now. He left because now I'm doing something that he couldn't even freaking do.
Mm-hmm.
Screw you. So
there you go.
So there's that. And then like, like watching film and like creating stories was my outlet, like be able to express myself. 'Cause I didn't have that many friends growing up.
Yeah.
And so like that was my way of like learning like how to communicate or like learning how life works and whatnot. My mom taught me everything, but like at the end of the day, it was still just me.
Yeah.
But then I had like for example, like Dragon Ball Z or like TV or films and whatnot. And so now I'm like actually making films because I'm always bashing that horror films suck these days. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make my own horror films.
Do it myself. That's awesome, man. Yeah, dude, it's real cool just to see. Like that's what I mean. Like everything's so accessible to like everybody now. It's just like, you know, for the longest time, like just say drones, aerial shots.
Yeah.
That at one point, years ago, that was only accessible to a select group of people. Right. Now, dude, everybody has a drone. Everything's just so accessible to people. Even like doing this podcast and stuff. Like when you started doing YouTube, like you made that decision, like, do I want my name to be known here or known everywhere? And that's,
right.
You get online and you start spreading, dude, like I have friends that I've met from YouTube that I talk to on a very, very consistent basis.
Right.
People that live in Canada and like New Zealand and shit like that. And it's like,
crazy.
Dude,
you can talk to people anywhere around the world now. Whereas
it's
back
nuts.
then it was like when you meet someone, it's like you never meet them again. But now when you meet someone, what's your Instagram? What's your Snapchat? What's your Facebook? You can talk to them anywhere.
Yeah.
Speaking of names, though, like recently, like I've invested in full-time Filmmaker. Parker Wolbach, you're amazing, by the way. I recently invested in a full-time Filmmaker, and it helped me realize.
Is that like a class?
Yeah, it's like an online course for a bunch of for filmmakers.
Okay.
And so like he taught us that like your name is everything, and the way he explained, I was like, what the heck am I doing? Because I used to be called Embry Creations, but the thing is, when I promoted that name, people didn't realize what I did.
Yeah.
They're always confused, like, what the heck is that? So I had to explain it to them every single time that I met him. I took one of his courses, and I was like, dude, Fernando, what are you doing? I always talk to myself. And I'm like, Fernando, you're always personal with your clients. And people love your name. They always sing your name. I love it. They always say Diaba. And so, like, why not change it from Embry Creations to Fernando de la Cruz Films? So now I go by Fernando de la Cruz Films. And ever since I changed that name, like even today, I recently got a phone call from someone that like wants me to help them film a documentary feature type of series so that they could feature other artists. And I was like, what? How did you find me? They're like, well, we saw you did films and I saw your recent vlog. And I was like, I would love for you to help us, work for me and whatnot. I'm like, what? And like ever since, I was like,
dude, it's fantastic,
that's
man.
The best thing I've ever done because Embry Creations, it was a cool name and all, but it didn't get me anywhere. Then I changed my name.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Dude, it's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I always like when I was younger and stuff, I always wanted to come up with like the cool name and stuff like that. And you really just start to think like, take a look at, I keep referring to Mad Men because like, it's just one of my favorite shows in the world. I'm a marketing advertising guy. It's about marketing and advertising. It's one of the dude, you just check it out. It's on IMDb TV online. You can stream it for free. 7 seasons, I think. Oh, wow. And it's like, but the name of that building or their business was Sterling Cooper. Those were the 2 owners, Sterling Cooper. And it was just like, when you heard that, you knew who it was, and they were a marketing and advertising agency. And, it was very cool because, like, I would see, like, my buddy Brian, he named him, Brian F. Henry Photography. I was like, cool, okay. And then it just, like, same thing. I ran into some people online that were just like, yo, use your name. Like, when I was starting to, like, my YouTube channel, I was trying to come up with this, like, cool name.
Exactly.
Like, what's my cool YouTube name going to be? And then I ran into, like, Casey Neistat, whose channel is called Casey Neistat. Peter McKinnon. And I'm like, wait a minute. Maybe I should just use my name. And then I decided to use my business name, which is also kind of getting a little old for me even. Yeah. Like, it's Jordan Hauser Digital.
Right.
And I'm just like, I wanted to put digital in the front of it because back when you were a baby and I was your age, I had to distinguish the fact that I was doing digital work because digital wasn't accessible to everybody.
Right.
So that was a thing. Like, I had to, like, differentiate myself between analog and digital stuff. And so now it doesn't really make much sense. I have a ton of, like, business cards and branding and stuff like that with digital printed on it. My new website doesn't say digital anywhere. Right. So it's just kind of like I'm phasing it out and stuff like that, and I have some other ideas coming up. But it's just like, I think that, with times changing and things like that, it is absolutely, man. You got to get your name out there, and you have to be the squeakiest wheel because nobody's exactly what you said, man. Nobody's going to find you just sitting there being all quiet.
Well, now, what was it like to video edit back in the day? Like with because I don't know if like VHS was like a thing back then. Like, what was it like to edit?
It was
like
weird. Dude, clicks all over the place. Yeah. My first internship was at a news station. Okay. So we definitely did analog editing there. So you have 2 VCRs and another VCR like over here. You put a tape in here, and if you're running, you can do it with 2. Right. I mean, you put a tape in there, and then you're recording to this one, and you're basically stealing the footage from this tape over here. So you shoot your stuff, you put it into here, and then you cycle through with these wheels, and you find it, you hit your in point, and record over here, and then you hit play. And it would play it, and it would lay it down on this track over here. Hit stop, find your next section.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Hit your in point, hit play, hit record over here, and then it would lay down your next section.
Oh, my God.
So that's what you had to do. You couldn't just be like, I know how I want this to end, and go to the end and, like, make your ending and then work backwards or anything. That's why they call it linear editing. So you actually went in a line from the beginning to the end. And it was pretty crazy, dude. It was nuts.
A long time.
Oh, dude. Like, there were guys that were so good at that at the news station. Like, I got good at it because I did it all the time. But there were guys at the news station that were, like, older dudes that were, like, camera guys and editors and stuff for years and years and years. Those guys could bang out a news story doing it that way in, like, a minute. Like, they were, like, pulling tapes, shoving in other tapes, just, like, going to find their, like, time code or whatever, hitting that, doing this, and I'm like, what the hell is happening? It was nuts, dude. But, yeah, times have changed. And I'm like, actually really glad that, like, it ended up, I got to see that and this. It's very unique. To be able, oh my God, yeah, it's awesome. And that's a whole nother thing. I mean, like, there's people out there that, like, they see me and they say, like, oh, dude, like, you know a little bit about this, you know a little bit about that. I mean, my old boss, one of my best friends now, he used to just, like, say, like, dude, you're like a Swiss Army knife. You can do anything. You're a one-man band. Right. And so, like, if he needs this, he needs that, he calls me up and he's like, yo, you're my guy. Let's go. And that's how, I've been able to, nurture that relationship and get work from him. And, I'm trying to repay the favor and give him some work and stuff like that coming up here shortly. But, yeah, it's awesome, man. Right. It's really cool.
Oh, my gosh. That's totally cool. That's totally cool to talk with other filmmakers out there. Because when you talk to other people, they're like, what are you talking about?
What the hell is that?
DaVinci What is Premiere?
Yeah.
What is Adobe?
Like I remember I was going on a date and like I was going on a date and I brought my camera. I was like, I brought my camera anywhere. And so I brought my camera and I slammed it down. And she's like, and I was so happy because I got my first Sigma.
Yeah.
And I plopped down. She was like,
What do you think you're filming with that tonight, sir?
no. Well, yeah, but she was like, ew, why is that here? Why are you doing this? I was like, I love camera.
Yeah.
And I was telling her about it. She's like, oh my gosh, that is so weird. Why are you be normal? And I was like, jeez. Even the waiter was like feeling the heat. I was like, I'm trying to share what I love with you. And you're like dissing what I love. And I'm like,
That's hysterical.
oh my God.
Yeah, man. Not everybody's a gear nerd, but it takes a special type of person, man. I flip out over gear. I love it.
Yeah. Like I just built my new PC.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, I shot my first, I was finally able to film a 10-minute 4K video, and it was able to render it in like 2 minutes.
Oof.
Whereas on my
That's
laptop,
fast, dude.
it took like an hour.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? I was like mind blown.
Dude, that's awesome, man. Well, you got any plugs that you want to drop here?
Yeah, so
Let's do it.
Yeah, man. So you can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram, Snapchat. You can find me. Just look up Fernando Cruz Films, and you'll find it. And yeah, if you're looking for someone to shoot a music video, shoot a documentary, a promo, something that's cinematic and tells a narrative story, I'm the guy for you. Nice. And also, I would like to also say a shout out to everyone that's been supporting me. I thank you so much. And you know who you are. I don't need to say all your names because you know exactly who you are. And also, I want to say, most of all, I'd like to thank my mom for always. I was always ticked off. I was a jerk as a kid, and
I think everybody was.
Yeah, well, and like I was a black sheep, and like I finally realized now I'm growing up and looking back, I finally realized like why you're hard on me, and now because of my mom being hard on me, I'm able to be more independent. My big brother's the same exact way, and like I want to say thank you, even though I'm not the best son in the world, but I try my best, and like I like to say thank you for real from the bottom of my heart for always supporting me, and even though you couldn't be there at some points in time, but you truly were there, because if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be as independent and strong as I am right now. So thank you, Mom. And yeah, that's all I got.
Right on, dude. That's awesome, man.
Nice.
Thank you for being on the show. I had a really good time talking to you. I told my wife before this, I was like, dude, this is going to be like one of the funnest ones because we're going to sit and talk shop, and that's what we're going to do. This is going to appeal to the creatives, the film and video people, and everybody else. Yeah, man. Tune in next week. So, all right, bro. Thank you very much for being on the show. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man, it was fun.